I would like to extend a very warm Fáilte Road to the people who have come from other destinations and other geoparks that are with us here today. I'm sure you were probably quite interested in what we're doing in terms of the management and promotion of tourism, where natural and cultural heritage is the main attraction. So before I begin on the overview, I would like to say a few words on the very exciting announcements that we've had this week. It's been quite a week. The inclusion of the global geoparks into the UNESCO programme is a major development that will have big impacts on the 120 geoparks worldwide and of course on the 3 geoparks we have here on this island. It will certainly attract more attention and interest in us as destinations. The National Geographic has enormous global following also, and the Burren and Cliffs of Moher Geopark shortlisting in their Legacy Awards for destination leadership will also generate a lot of interest. So it is actually very fortuitous that we are currently engaged in a project that will help us manage these wonderful opportunities to full advantage. So GeoparkLIFE is a demonstration project in that the actions and outcomes should demonstrate good practice and provide guidance and learning to other destinations in Ireland and also in Europe. We are currently midway through the project, and our aim here today is to share with you what we have learned so far and the directions that we are going in. We will have an end of programme conference in autumn 2017 where we can present our toolkits and recommendations that can be transferred to others working in this area. The programme began in October 2012 and it will run until December 2017. The budget is 2.2 million, 50% is from the European LIFE funding, and 50% is from the agencies who are partner beneficiaries in the programme. Clare County Council is the lead partner and manages the programme. Fáilte Ireland, the Geological Survey of Ireland, the National Monuments Service, the Office of Public Works, the Heritage Council, National University Galway and University College Dublin are our funding partners. Now this programme is all about building partnerships, not just with our partners in these agencies, but with local tourism businesses and with local communities. We are working together to create a model of sustainable tourism that provides a good income for local people and a quality experience for the visitor while protecting our landscape heritage and our culture. People come here to visit the beautiful Burren and the stunning cliffs. They explore our caches and caves, and lately they're coming here to eat the food that's produced on this land. They listen to music and they hear our stories. These are unique to this particular region. They are worth protecting for ourselves, for others, and particularly for future generations. Tourism actually needs conservation. This is the core message that we have been saying for years. Tourism needs conservation. And if you look at it from a purely business perspective, for tourism to be of significant economic benefit to any region, the assets on which tourism is based must be protected and supported. And what are these assets? For the majority of tourists, they are people and place, heritage and culture. That's what people come to see. That's where you go on your holidays as well, and that's what you go to see too. We are also looking at the policies that govern the natural and built heritage, the environment and the tourism sectors. And as Gabriel and Joanne from UCD, who are taking care of this area, have said in their recent report, the multitude of partners necessary to the success of this project also brings a multitude of policies with them. Some are overlapping and some are conflicting. The challenge is to use the programme to align policy and to bridge gaps so that we can work collectively and constructively towards a sustainable tourism destination. There is a long history of tourism in this area dating back to the 1830s when Cornelius O'Brien turned the Cliffs of Moher into a tourist attraction. Lisdoonvarna developed as a spa town from the 1860s. Traditional music put Doolin on the map in the 1960s, and Alloy Cave is next year celebrating its 40th anniversary. We have about 300 businesses, from large visitor attractions to one-person guiding services, from large hotels to part-time B&Bs, working directly in tourism. And this region is also acknowledged as unique and special by all kinds of ologists, botanists, geologists, speleologists, archaeologists, the list goes on. Over 80% of the Burren itself is designated special area of conservation. The limestone pavements and the orchid-rich grasslands are protected by EU directives. The Cliffs of Moher is a special protection area for seabirds. We have thousands of national archaeological monuments. Paulnabroan Dolmen attracts over 1,000 visitors per day in high season and has become the iconic symbol for the Burren. Traditional farming practices are unique to the Burren and are celebrated at the Wintridge Festival in October. Traditional music is flourishing and is the mainstay of many events here in the Burren, but also all over the county. Over 200 kilometres of walking trails, and it's great to have Owen here who manages the walking trails, are opening up our landscape to increasing number of visitors seeking a quiet retreat and a reconnection to nature. The Wild Atlantic Way, as a brand and a concept, has captured in a very short space of time not only the attention of tourists, but also the attention of local businesses and communities who see tourism as an opportunity for economic security for themselves and for their future generations. We have a lot to offer our visitors, and their numbers are on the increase. Just over 5,000 people live in the Burren, in the Geopark region. And this year, visitor numbers exceeded 1.2 million to the Cliffs of Moher. There has been a significant growth in coach day trips from urban centres outside of the Geopark, creating questions around capacity and direct economic impacts and benefits. Roads are narrow, towns and villages are small, and waste and water infrastructure is under increasing pressure. 3% of the Burren is a national park, the rest is in private ownership. The walking trails infrastructure relies heavily on the goodwill and generosity of landowners. UNESCO and National Geographic, just those alone, will be promoting this destination to their global followers. It is now, more than ever, critically important to balance tourism and the conservation of our landscape, culture and quality of life. Other destinations may feel that this is an enviable situation to be in, to have to think about the management of visitor numbers as opposed to the attraction of visitor numbers. But if you wish to succeed as a destination, you need to think long term, to think sustainably. Sustainability is about planning primarily for the care of people and place, your core social and environmental responsibilities, and your primary economic asset as a destination, people and place. This is a quote from a man called Costas Christ, who was here from National Geographic a few days ago. Tourism is like fire. If you let it get out of control, it destroys everything. But when it is contained, it will cook your food, warm your homes, forge your tools. It is a metaphor that he uses a lot when he is travelling and meeting people from other destinations. He's the director of the National Geographic Legacy Awards and a leading visionary in tourism and conservation for over 30 years. Many destinations and national tourism agencies measure success by visitor numbers, not revenue. There are destinations all over the world who have actively increased visitor numbers, but who have consequently experienced a decline in revenue. This actually has happened in numerous locations, and in environmental conditions and in visitor experience. Leading tourism businesses worldwide, and these are the major travel operators and hotel chains, now recognise that the quality of the environment and the quality of life for the host community have a direct effect on the quality of the experience of the visitor. When we achieved global geopark status for the Burren and Cliffs of Moher in 2011, we were entering a network of destinations that has a very interesting take on landscape conservation. Geoparks place their emphasis on the sustainable development of place for the benefit of local people. Local communities are supported through the sustainable use of landscape and culture to attract tourism. It is a perfect fit for what we are trying to achieve here. We were supported and guided by Dr. Pat O'Connor, former director of the GSI during this journey, and since his retirement, Dr. Sarah Gatley has taken up the baton and has been a great supporter of geoparks here and also our colleagues in the Copper Coast. The UNESCO designation adds tremendous weight to the status, and I do hope you all will stay for dinner this evening to hear Professor Patrick McKeever, whom we're delighted could make this event, to expand on this topic at dinner tonight. The Irish Global Geopark Seminar tomorrow will provide you with an excellent overview of how geoparks work and their conditions for membership of this growing global network, now fully endorsed as a UNESCO programme. We have taken the global geopark status and have been building an identity around it here in the Burren. We are now combining our logo, the geology outreach programme led by Dr. Eamon Doyle, and our actions under the GeoparkLIFE programme to create a brand, a very distinctive brand that represents sustainable tourism. You will see it in all of our products and leaflets, etc. The GeoparkLIFE programme action looks at 3 particular areas, and this GeoparkLIFE programme has been really fundamental to us in what we've been able to do over the last number of years. Number 1, we look at how tourism businesses can incorporate environmental and conservation ethos into their business practice and into the experiences and products they offer the visitor. The second action is how monuments and habitats that tourists visit can be better accessed, managed and conserved. This includes how visitors travel to and from the sites, by car, walking, cycling or by coach, and how these can be managed and facilitated. And the third area is how community groups who are interested in utilising their local heritage or town as attractions can best manage their cultural and natural heritage themselves. These are just 3 elements of many, many elements in a complex web of interconnected relationships between businesses, communities and agencies that make up tourism destinations. All of the above require cooperation and active engagement by many agencies and organisations. There are overlaps between the 3 actions in terms of partnership engagement, activity and the impact of policies. If this project succeeds in achieving good working models and toolkits for these 3 actions, then we are taking a very important step towards an overall destination management plan. Several government agencies are tasked with the care and management of the SACs and the national monuments. The County Council implements the development plan for the region. The tourism agencies and the businesses and some communities also draw visitors into the area. All of these are represented in the partnership that steers and advises the GeoparkLIFE programme, and they work together to develop and implement the actions. In doing so, a lot of learning and understanding is emerging on all sides, and how communities and networks work, on how agencies operate, on the policy instruments at play, and how tourism and conservation interests really do need to work together. So what have we learned so far? We are halfway through the project already. I'm not going to go into the detail of the different actions. I'm going to leave that up to our very able coordinators to do that. But in overall terms, there are a few things that we really do know and that need to guide any project like this in the future. A sustainable destination requires a plan involving many actors and many activities. To develop this requires partnerships of many kinds, partnerships between agencies and businesses and communities, partnerships between businesses and communities, and partnerships between businesses. There's a lot of interconnection going on. Both planning and partnerships take time to build understanding, trust, and a common vision. Any planning process of this nature needs to factor time into the equation, and it often doesn't. Usually we get, a lot of, let's say, support financially, but with ridiculously short criteria of when to spend the money and etc. So, really time is a very, very important factor. Building relationships and partnerships and networks is about focusing on the relationships, as I said, and collective actions. The building of this process requires commitment of time and effort and creativity, and the realisation that there is only so much that people can do when their primary role is their main work or business. Everyone representing the agencies and groups involved in the partnership is involved part-time out of necessity. Business and community groups in particular are giving voluntarily to the process, and their time is a very precious commodity. This project is effective because a dedicated team of people administrate, coordinate, implement, record and report the actions. This is quite a bit of work. This cannot be done as a small part of the day job or as a voluntary time commitment. This has been vital to the day-to-day management and to the progress of the actions. And we would advise that the very first line on the budget for any particular programme involving partnerships is the coordination fees or salaries or whatever you have, whatever situation you find yourself in. The other thing that we've noticed as well is procedures and policies are very important as a guide and a support to programmes like this. Procedures make all the activities and expenditure accountable, and they guide best practice when they are well developed and when they are coherent. They provide very important parameters. However, they should not become the primary aim of programs such as these. If following procedure becomes the raison d'etre, it could very well quench creativity, commitment, ownership, and energy. Procedures should accommodate the real-life challenges and needs of all of the partners. And for those of us used to the public sector way of operating within procedures, we need to understand and accommodate the elements of flexibility, creativity, that businesses and community groups really need to have to thrive, and the limits on resources and time that they have to contend with. Communication is another thing that's absolutely vital. Good communication gives people knowledge, understanding, security, and recognition of the efforts being made, of what is working, of what needs to change, of the journey we are all on. This is a job in itself, given the multitude of media we're now expected to engage in and the time that that takes, but it offers great rewards. Investors of resources, be it time or money, are kept informed on progress and accountability. Local communities know or can easily find out what is going on and can see that the programme is fully transparent. Our partners know that their efforts are recorded and acknowledged and are sometimes rewarded by the validation of awards, international awards, and the attention of global organisations such as the National Geographic and, of course, the UNESCO Global Geoparks Network. GeoparkLIFE, is the sum of many parts. As I mentioned earlier, Clare County Council, Fáilte Ireland, Geological Survey of Ireland, National Monument Service, the OPW, the Heritage Council, INUIG and UCD are the co-investors with EU Life in the programme. The Burren Ecotourism Network is one of our key and most important partners. The National Parks and Wildlife Service also work with us and offers advice and guidance. Burren Bio Trust have been very involved with the conservation actions that we have been working with. Burren IFA and Burren Farming for Conservation have offered us very valuable advice from the beginning of this project. The Burren and Cliffs of Moher Visitor Experience, the Rural Recreation Scheme, the National Disability Authority and Leave No Trace. All of these groups are on our steering committee and act as our advisors. Ballyvaughan, Kilnaboy, Lister and Varna community groups are amongst our conservation case studies. There are so many others that we could have worked with, but we have had to start with a select group of groups and sites as case studies and demonstration sites for the purposes of these projects. We had to choose. The learnings from these, of course, though, can be then transferred to other groups in the Geopark and other locations in the Geopark and to other destinations in Ireland and in the EU. The project is managed by a steering committee who make the strategic decisions, and we have working groups that meet regularly to develop the three elements of the work programme. The implementation and recording of the actions and the communication of these actions is carried out by the management team of myself as manager and the 4 coordinators that you will meet today. All are advised by local stakeholders and by agencies. I will now soon hand you over to the coordinators of these actions. Tina O'Dwyer, she manages and coordinates the tours and businesses element of things. Zina Octor coordinates the monuments and habitats element. Joanne Gaffrey manages conservation management with the community groups element. And Professor Gabriel Cooney of UCD is assessing the policy implications of this programme. But I want to mention Laura. Laura Cotter is our communications coordinator, and though she will not be presenting today, you will be experiencing her excellent work all around you in the organisation of this seminar, the website, social media, the newsletter, and the minutes of meetings and other updates that you have on our website, which is open to everybody, burngeopark.ie. Laura is also responsible for the awards applications, and she also coordinates the collaborative marketing activities for the Burren Ecotourism Network. Now, we have built in time for questions at the end of each of the presentations on the 3 different areas, the 3 different actions. Laura will have a roving microphone, so please do take advantage of this opportunity to really engage and ask questions and find out more. We have also organised a networking reception from 5 to 6 this evening, where you can meet the partners attending the events, this event. And those of you that want to know which is partner, they're the ones with the GeoparkLIFE logo on their badges. So, without anything further to say really, except I'm really looking forward to the 3 presentations now ahead of us. And also, Gerard Dollard is going to be giving his this concluding remarks at the end of the programme of presentations today. I would like to now invite Tina O'Dwyer, who is the coordinator of the Tourism Enterprises Action, to give you an overview of how sustainable ethos and practices are being developed amongst the tourism enterprises of the Burren Ecotourism Network. Thank you.